Namaste. I'm just checking if the stream's everywhere. Not only on YouTube, I think. Okay. So, Namaste. It's very dark light here because, I have only one lamp. I lost the cables, or the cables are lost to my microphone. It's a very interesting time with a lot of Mahamaya, a lot of illusion. And anyhow, I'm here still and just checking how I can make the light. So, not very good, but it is what it is. So, maybe before I can talk a little bit about mantras, I want to talk about the subject of Mahamaya and the illusions, and I'm not happy with the light. I'm absolutely not happy with the light. And the mantras which are connected to that. So, I always thought I know what illusion is, right? You also thought you know what illusion is? I really thought I know what illusion is. I think now that I don't know anything anymore. And I think that is a point when you really start to understand that you don't understand. Maybe there's something deep hidden in that, in the surrender and in the acceptance of what you cannot change. So sometimes, I don't know if you ever experience that, but sometimes you push so far, you go so far, and you think you can change something. You are the doer, right? And sometimes we are. We can create, we can connect, we can recreate, we can co-create. And sometimes there's a higher force, some energy that is working. In India, they call it Maya. It's not only the negative things that happens, also the positive things. So everything is called Maya. And I think Mahamaya can only be experienced once we really experience it. And I think the Mahamaya, the illusion, is much more deeper than everybody of us can ever imagine. And to come to the point when you absolutely think you know so many things and then you don't know anything anymore, well, that's a big state. I don't know if anybody experienced that like this, but it is something very deep and something very special for sure. And there's a saying in India is that out of silence the creation comes, and all the creation goes back some point to the silence. So I start to understand that better now, actually. For example, this is one side of the creation. So actually, when there's a creation, is only on one side. And the other side is absolute nothingness. And there's a called another bindu. And another bindu means a connection point to one world to another. The question is, what are the connection points to what energy is the connection point? And for sure, when we chant mantras, we connect ourselves to some energy there, to the nada bindu, and to the nothingness. And from the nothingness, everything comes out, and to the nothingness, everything goes back. So the beauty is when we sing mantras, we can open our heart and we can create some beautiful energy where we can fill ourselves with vibrations, right? And that is very, very, very beautiful. And I first want to sit with you a moment in silence and enjoy that silence with you a moment. So if you want, you can put the hand on your heart chakra and just be in silence for a moment. And then if you are interested, you can let me know what mantras you would love to listen to, or what kind of knowledge you would love to have about mantras. So when we go back to the Nada Bindu, and the scriptures is that everything is formed by 5 elements. Nama Shivaya. So if it's not formed by the 5 elements, we are not in this form. So if we're not in the form, we are on the other side, right? And by creating our life or creating our vibrations, we can strengthen the energy by the 5 elements, or we can also weaken our energy by the 5 elements. And we are under some law in this universe, on each planet, on each universe, and there are some laws. So, but when we chant, we can balance the 5 elements. So as I think with the harmonium, I better sing once I make my microphone back to work, which I really try now. And I think now I chant that with you, if you want, the 5 elements. Om Namah Shivaya. It's very beautiful. It's very slow and very beautiful. It means earth, fire, sky, water, and air. So earth element is for strength, connecting to earth. Fire element is to willpower, to energy to create. The sky element is to the angel and connecting to the divine energy. The water element is to the emotions, and the air element is to the connection to our mind. To control the mind, I think in this time is for many people very challenging. So that mind is also connected to Hanuman as the air element. It's the smallest, but it's very strong. So I think I just sing now Om Namah Shivaya. And if you have questions, you can write them in. And you can feel to that. And once you feel you also want to sing, in the future you want to have different melodies. There's so many beautiful melodies. So even if we don't chant mantras, just to listen to the 5 elements is giving a lot of strength and a lot of beautiful energy to us. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya. So Om Namah Shivaya. And there are many saints who don't chant anything else, just Namah Shivaya. It's because we are out of 5 elements here on this earth. So we are under this law if we want or if we don't want. And that is very interesting, isn't it? So we don't have 4 fingers or 3 fingers. No, we have 5 fingers. So each animal and each human being is under the law of that 5 elements. We cannot easily escape that. But we can try to work with that 5 elements. We can try to integrate that energy in us and try to connect with that vibration. Actually, for me, singing is the only thing that always works. I don't know how that with you. Sometimes when you meditate a lot, there might be some strengths coming in some ways and some weaknesses in some ways. The strength is that you can have a super empty mind and you don't care. The weakness is that you lose your mind and you don't care. One day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm incarnated in this body, so what to do now? I'm under this law of these 5 elements. So that's why many saints in India, they try to not interact with many people or stay alone a long time. And many people don't understand them because they're completely look a little crazy for the outside. And maybe they are. They're for sure having a different view on things. And they are many times don't care. But once you're in this Maya, once you're connected in this physical world, you have to care. So once you wrapped up in all this illusion, you have to kind of function. So for that, sometimes you have to look at your 5 elements. Which one you completely lost? So maybe you lost earth, the connection here. Or you lost the fire. Or you kind of want to disappear your 5 elements. So before we die, we also give up the 5 elements, right? So sometimes there's a process where you just want to go. And then you may feel like, oh no, I have a body, I have things to do. So don't worry, that only happens if you meditate super much. Most people don't have that. Most people have a lot of attachment and don't care so much on not caring, right? Don't care so much on not caring. Wow. Let me say that again. That is so cool. I don't care so much on not caring. So don't worry. It's not so easily to get that state. But once you have that, you might get a little bit, oops, all of a sudden you realize how much you disconnected. And I think in my life, this 10 years I stayed in India, what was very beautiful there was there always was a community around. So when everybody was pretty off on the energy and pretty much in deep meditation, we reminded each other like, hey, your flight goes in a week. Did you pack? Oh, really? I have to. Oh, I have a week. Okay. This world is very different. It's not an ashram. This world is very fast, very challenging sometimes. So, but what is always beautiful to see is what kind of element is off and which one you can work on. So if you don't want to work on an element, you can just listen to the Namah Shivaya. There are many beautiful souls who did CDs on that and chant that, and just to listen to it, it creates a lot of balance, or can create a lot of balance. Also, singing is creating a lot of energy you're connecting back. So, there's a beautiful saying, you can only have fear or you can sing. I forget many things I'm teaching, right? So maybe I should also remember what I'm teaching. The mind goes very empty many times. So Mahamaya, to understand Mahamaya, I read a lot of scriptures about that. But I think no scripture can really explain. And every time we think we know it, I think we just scratched something. I think that we might never get to the point that we know it all. And I think that is important because otherwise we might get stuck in a kind of idea that we know it all, and it makes us not curious anymore, and it makes us how to say, a little bit boring, not boring, but you kind of stop exploring, right? So I try to get my microphone fixed and the lights. And if you're interested on some special mantras and some special energies, or if you have questions, you can write to me, also to info@spiritbalance.net. You can let me know that. And I was recently in a very beautiful concert with some bhajans, and I remembered how much I was singing, always singing, and it's so beautiful. I think we should never stop listening to music, stop dancing and singing, right? It's lift us up so much. It's so beautiful. It's one of the things I absolutely love the most. So let me know if you have any questions. And it's important to lift each other up, and sending lots of love. Take care, everybody. Bye.